Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here, and today I want to discuss fears and what ifs. Seems to me, hey Gabriel, welcome back. It seems to me like there's a lot of what ifs in the community, or I should say communities, because there's more than one particular community out there, and it's kind of interesting to see. What if this doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? What if I'm attacked? What if in general? Well, what I got to say about that is this. If you spend all your time being afraid, you're not going to make anything of yourself within this life. If you don't take that chance and delve into, say, ritual, maybe go for that position that you want in work, or perhaps take that act of retribution against a foe, how will you make a name for yourself? How would you be remembered? In fact, how would you look at yourself in a mirror? I want you to think about that for just a minute. Now, you take the last year. I've watched many people just give up Facebook, just disappear. I've had two individuals that, in particular, one moved to a better location for a better position in his job. Haven't heard from him since, and he recently started doing YouTube videos again. The other one is back. He joined the military and he's back on social media. Basically, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, he's there. But a lot of people have also been coming to me personally and sharing photos of someone that's been attacking me for the better part of a couple of years. Okay. And I find this humorous because, number one, even if you get on social media, you see somebody talking about, well, such and such a person is dying. Death is part of life. Why be afraid of something that's natural? And it's going to come for everyone. Doesn't matter if it's your body attacking itself. It doesn't matter if an enemy is attacking you. It just does not matter. And I want you to think about something. What is the greatest fear out there? What is that greatest fear? Think about that for just a moment. It's being forgotten, right? Now, what happens if, say, for an example, somebody keeps attacking you over and over again, and your opponent does nothing, doesn't even lift a finger, just sits back, doesn't reply, doesn't even acknowledge your posts, doesn't acknowledge that you're even attacking. Instead, your opponent just simply goes, oh, fuzzball. You see my point. As Lord Zulok 666 just posted, fear itself. Fear that somebody's better than you. Fear that you just don't add up. Fear that you can't make it on your own. So you basically hide behind a skirt. You hide behind anything instead of taking responsibility for your own actions, your own lacking. Okay? In the occult community, you're seeing this more and more. You put out content that literally tells people right up front, we are not reliable for your actions. Basically meaning you're on your own. We you know, wash our hands of you. But then you get somebody that's a writer. I believe it was Alistair Knott who said it best. The pen is mightier than the sword. It's true because you can either create or you can condemn somebody to death. Perfect example of that is the article by BBC News about E.A. Koetting's little organization. All it took was one little paper. Just one little paper. That's all it took to condemn him and his business. Here we are a year later. That individual has been tried and found guilty. And yet YouTube and Facebook, even Instagram, booted his ass off their platforms. So many people have left Facebook because of the changes being done. The fear of what's being done. You see, these platforms, it's more of a business for them. They don't stop to think. What about you, the little guy or woman? What about you? What if you're trying to make a business for yourself? What if you're trying to create an image for yourself within the occult community or any community for that matter? And yet you have a company that's violating the freedom of free speech, limiting what you say, banning you left and right, even banning you for shit that you did years prior. You see, that's in the court of law, that's considered double jeopardy because you've already been tried for for that crime once. So how can a company like Facebook go at you for a second time for a post that they've already deemed unacceptable or that's been reported to them from years back? Think about it. With all the changes coming up and being put into place, Mark Zuckerberg, founder, CEO, top dog at Facebook. You keep updating your rules. Now you've started attacking occult practitioners, limiting religious belief structures. You've changed the name of your company to Meta, and that stigma is still there. Okay. It's there. It's always going to be there. And more people are leaving your platforms. But wait, you keep saying that it's about the privacy concerns. You keep saying it's to make your followers' accounts more privy to being hacked. You know what I'm saying? Protection. Let me put it to you this way. When it comes to Mark Zuckerberg's company, there is no amount of protection. There is no amount of condoms, if you will, that's going to protect you from their company. You see, they've already singled out individuals on Facebook, blocking them, limiting them, restricting their access, even preventing founders of Facebook groups from deleting their groups so they can get the hell off Facebook. But wait, here's the kicker. These individuals can go in as individuals and leave that group. Basically leaving these groups as a husk. Nothing more. Nobody's in them. Who gives a shit? Just another empty space on Facebook. And now, the latest news when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg is they are planning to remove one of the biggest security things out there, facial recognition software. Meaning that if you have your photo on your account or you have your seal on your account, guess what? It's going bye-bye. So basically, Mark Zuckerberg is not only invading your own privacy and violating your legal rights, but now he's going into your personal accounts, your personal groups, and forbidding you from doing shit. How is that not a tyrant thing? Interesting. So, fear. The fear of the unknown. Information is key when dealing with anything. Knowledge is power, and true power is undefiled wisdom. Anton LaVey. Zuckerberg has a computer, a supercomputer, basically, that runs this entire company for him. Not just a few employees that he has. So, if you rebuke something, if you rebuke a restriction, then it gets passed to a human. And if that human denies it, you can rebuke that human and go straight to the top council. But wait for it, their decision is final. So where's the freedom of speech? Where's the freedom of religion? You can't do anything. You can't even wipe your ass nowadays without getting restricted for something. I've been in contact with numerous people who are finding it hard to get away from Facebook. In fact, so many people who have left Facebook has been going to MeWe. They've been going to YouTube. Other platforms that Mark Zuckerberg does not own or has his greedy little hands in. But I want you to think about this for just a moment. When you think of fear and you think of what ifs, what if I delete my Facebook account? What do I do then? How do I do my things? How do I still teach? How do I still run my business? Well, there's so many different platforms out there that will allow you to do this stuff. You have Google. You can I believe it's last time I looked, it's $64. At least that was pre COVID times. It was $64 to have your personal page on Google, whereas YouTube is free. You can do patrons once you get to a certain amount of followers. I believe it's watch time, followers, and subscribers. I want to say it's subscribers, which is the biggest thing of all, not just the watch time. So, and then you have things like Timber. You have, what is it, TikTok. TikTok allows you to do, maybe about a minute to 3 minute conversations. That's it. Something, one little quick little thing. Unless you do it right here and then share it to TikTok. Then you can upload a 5 to 10 minute video. And it's kind of interesting to see, the difference. How come they won't do it when you do it live? But yet you can share something that's an hour long and it goes right on. Stupid and pathetic. But yes, people are going to other sites, other platforms. I've already left Facebook because there's nothing good there. In fact, I have no use for Facebook. Yes, I have Instagram account. Yes, I have a was it Timber account. Yes, I have a TikTok account, and yes, I have a YouTube, which is obvious. But here's the thing: anytime a spirit has asked me to do something, I've done it. No fear, no what ifs, no buts about it. I just do it because the spirits asked. Plain and simple. They led me to that. It was time for me to do that. And it's not just, oh, and yes, I have a MeWe account too. And to be fair, some of those MeWe posts are, well, let's just say more adultish. Okay, and leave it at that. Things I'm not interested in. But I'm on there because I'm also an admin for friends groups. So I kind of have to be there. Okay? It's a responsibility to the responsible. So my point is this, ladies and gentlemen. If you allow what ifs and fear to prevent you from achieving your goals, you're not going to get very far in life. In fact, you'll probably just end up being another armchair magician, hiding behind a computer screen, wishing you had a better luck, had better, better life. Hell, even wondering, what if I actually took that chance? What if that's my only chance? How will you know? That's what I got to say. How do you know that's your only chance? Because other people have said so? What if I told you that what was lost can come back? What if I told you that if people tell you that you can't do it, what if I told you that you can? You see, it's mind over matter. People say that those who have been in a coma for, say, 3 to 7 years, their bodies lose muscle mass during this time. Basically, atrophy runs through the muscles. They need physical therapy, intense physical therapy to get the blood flowing through those muscles and getting them to strengthen, getting them to work properly. Okay? And here's the key. And I want you to pay attention. What the mind says, the body has to follow. There is nothing to fear but fear itself. Fear will prevent you from doing just about anything. Trusting your gut and your skills and what you do for a living will get you much further. but the only person who can make that diagnosis is you. Only you can discern, where do I go? What do I do? A lot of people ask questions. This is a good thing. It is a very good thing to ask questions. Even better is to write them down. Get a big piece of, or multiple big pieces of, say, construction paper. Do the pros and cons. Is this job worth it? Is this life worth it? Is what I'm doing worth it? Okay. You see, it's one thing to be told, it's one thing to think it and do it. Okay. But when you see firsthand what's written down, it puts things in perspective. It makes all things clearer. Okay. And I will tell you this firsthand that I once sat down. This was a couple of years back. It was right after my son was born, about roughly about a month, 2 months down the road. Or better, no, actually, scratch that. It wasn't a month or two. It was within 6 months, 6 month period after my son was born. I ended up writing, a friend of mine and I were sitting there and we were writing things down. And just standing there looking at these pros and cons put a lot of things in perspective. They put a lot of things in perspective, things that you don't really think about, things you've done, things you didn't do. This is where I'm at today. This is where I want to be or where I could be. Okay. And when you see this stuff written down, it really brings a visual cue, or I should say acuity, to the topics at hand. You look at what's going on in your own independent lives, you know, your own independent worlds. Could be relationship issues. It could be social media platforms ganging up on you. It could be enemies attacking you. It could be any number of topics. When it comes down to it, it's not about them. You got to do what's best for you because nobody else is going to. When I joined the Mazajera Cabal, I didn't know what to expect. This was just 2 years ago. I look at my world today. I have a lot of clients, things I didn't have before that. I may have 1 to 6 people, here and there, maybe once or twice a year. But since I did this, made this choice and jumped into it and made it my world, I've gone through a lot of metamorphosis, a lot of changes. I got rid of 98% of the drama that was in my world. The beings that I work with have shown me that there's a lot that you don't need in your world. And if you want to be a sorcerer or sorceress, a witch or warlock within your chosen field, get rid of these wannabes. Get rid of this drama. Petition the spirits that you work with to remove all this stuff from your world. If it's not for you and yours, you know, I ask them, I petition them, and I say, if it's not for me and mine, I don't want it. But if it is for me and mine, then I do want it. I do the actual work. I put the effort in. I do the commitment, the dedication, and the offerings, the whole kit and caboodle. I put the time in, the blood, sweat, and tears because it's something that matters to me. The question is, what matters to you? What is it that you truly desire? What is it that you truly want? That's what you got to determine for yourself, for yourselves, and go from there. Look at it from a time. Mm, back in school, they had these. I don't know if everybody did this. I can't speak for other schools, only the ones that I went to. They would have a time frame. When you go into to apply for a job, they do the same exact thing. Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years down the road, or 3 to 5 years? You know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. How do I connect those two? How do I achieve it? Even through meditation, can I attach myself to my future self and see where I am there? Now, seeing that, how do I get from here to there? What choices do I have to make? What obstacles am I going to have to overcome? You see what I'm saying here? So it comes down to you. It comes down to your needs, not mine, but yours. From there, do think of it like a step ladder. Each rung gets you closer to your objective. I'm going to quote something from WWE. The world. No, yeah. So WWE. The ladders match when they have to go up the ladders and they're fighting and competing, and you got that money in a case thing above. Okay, and that's what they're trying to get to. Think of it from a business perspective. Think of it from a how should I say this? A personalized business. How do you get to that money in the bank? How would you get there? Same thing. Each rung, take it step by step, plan it out. It's like finances, same exact thing. How do you get out from debt? You pick one thing and you cut away at it. When that's gone, then you go to the next and the next and the next until you're debt free. Each rung will get you closer to your goal. Say, for an example, you've got, let's say, $7,000 in debt. You've got a car that's shit in the bed, rotting right out from beneath you. Let's say, for an example, you want to get a house, but yet you're afraid to take those actions. What if I do this? Well, then all this other shit's going to come into play. All this other stuff is going to come into play and it's going to eat you alive. What ifs? That's fear talking. That is fear talking. My better half, just out of an example, every so often she'll get in one of these moods where she'll look at me and say, "What if?" or "What if we do this? What if we do that? Do you think it would work? How could we do this?" That what ifs come into play, and I have to sit there and be the rock. I have to sit there and be the voice of reason. Not because I'm a white knight. No, I'm more of a black knight. Okay, I'm a black knight, hands down. I'm the guy that really doesn't give a shit. As long as you make good decisions, all good. You know what I'm saying? But with her, it's a whole nother ballgame because of the fact that when your mind and your body is not balanced, you're going to be chaotic. you're going to be chaotic. And that's exactly what it is. But think of it this way, when you're on social media, have you ever noticed that you get a lot of people that just do that blue thumbs up? Maybe they do the heart or the smiley face with the hearts. These are people that don't want to get involved. They don't want to have that voice. But yet, you have those few who will sit there and try to nitpick on everything you do and try to limit you, get you to start second guessing yourself, especially after you've done all the work and you've gotten sources, you've got um, all your ducks in a row, and you post something. They will nitpick and they will tear it apart. They will look at a single word and focus on that, just on that one word. You see this sphere. They're acting out of an emotional reply. That's all it is. It's envy. They are envious because you know what you're talking about. They're envious because you dared to do something that they could not do. They were afraid to do. But then you got that 1%. That 1% that will tell you you did an awesome job. I'm proud of you. You came up with this. This is upon my path. Or they will sit there and recommend things that you did not catch. You see, that's a learning experience. That's the way a community should be. But unfortunately, we don't live in a society that will aid you. They're always going to be covering their asses no matter what you do or say. Sad fact, but it's there. Mark Zuckerberg is hiding behind a company while all his those who use his platforms are either leaving or basically telling him off right online. The other factor is people who are dealing with shit offline. I've watched people put together a GoFundMe account, knowing, there's one in particular, this individual has cancer. The animal that this individual has suddenly has this huge blister on its paw. Lost their home, became homeless. Car is shit in the bed. This is a person who really has lost everything or just about everything. And yet nobody's helping this individual. Nobody's helping them. Not one fucking person has said, here's $100. Here's $200. Go take care of that animal. Hey, I have a camper that you can stay in if you can get here. Hey, I have a room that you can stay in until you get on your feet. No. We want first month's rent. We want last month's rent and a security deposit. That's $3,000 easy right there. Now you take six, maybe 40 individuals, 3,000 a piece per month. Okay. Now you're looking at, say, anywhere between, depending on the size of the apartment, you're looking at roughly about 12 to 1,400. Or even almost $2,000 a month, depending if it's a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. If you own your own home, you're easily dropping 1,200 a month. and that's just on property tax. But yet, with a full-time job, you can easily rake in roughly about 4 grand a paycheck. You're looking at probably about 8 grand a month. I know somebody that worked 2 weeks and raked in $3,000 just in 2 weeks. Over $3,000, and that's 14 an hour, full time work. But yet, people are too afraid to put the work in. Since I've been at this current company, I've seen 2 people get hired, never came back. You mean I have to work? No, you're just gonna sit on your ass twiddling your thumbs. You see my point? Fear prevents people from doing what is necessary. What ifs is just nothing more than an excuse. You want to get shit done? Do it or shut the fuck up. Enough with the bitching. Enough with the herd conformity. Do what you do for you, and to hell with everything else. That's the way I see it. So I've seen a lot of people doing this. And lately, people are making the choice to either leave social media or go to other platforms because they're tired of the drama. They're tired of the BS, and they're tired of being let down. It's not just social media. We had a inspection a couple weeks ago. They found one thing in my apartment. Now, my better half and I had been working, so we didn't get a chance to do one wall in the bedroom, move stuff around so that it wasn't hindering anything. So, my better half wanted to set up a meeting, but yet she never did. She's always expecting others to do the work instead of doing things for herself. You can do the work when you're at work, but yet when you're at home, you know what I'm saying? It just don't work out. I'm not complaining. I have no problems doing the work for 2 people. It does not matter. Hell, even 3 people. I'm a full-time father. My son tonight is out with his grandmother. She's at work. So I get to have just me time. So I'm going to be spending the next few hours in my ritual room, communing with spirits, meditating, doing rituals, giving offerings. I get to do this tonight. Normally, I'm lucky if I get 15 to 30 minutes by myself in there before somebody sits there and knocks on the door. Hey, I need help. Can you watch him? Can you do this? Can you do that? But you know what? Welcome to being a family man. That's your responsibility. That's my responsibility. But tonight, it's about me, at least until 10, 30, 11 o'clock. And that's if she doesn't decide to work a double, which means I'll have the entire night to myself. But which will be cool. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Don't let fear grab you by the short and curlies. Don't sit there and go, what if? Because it's just a waste of time. You're either going to do it or you're not. Actions speak louder than words, but yet words and deeds go hand in hand. So if you're going to do something, just do it. Who cares what other people think about you. Somebody wants to talk smack about you. They want to Photoshop your face to somebody else's body and make it a meme. Who gives a shit? It doesn't bother you. It shouldn't even bother you. It says more about them than it does you. And if people come to you about it, well, just show your conversations with the individual. That's all you got to do. Hell, if you're getting on Facebook, look at the community rules. Get on the national news. You got that little app on your Facebook page, or your main screen if you have a smartphone or iPhone or whatever the hell they call it. Look it up. You'd be surprised how much information you can get from this. Get on YouTube, right here on YouTube. Just bring up stuff. Type in. You know, I had somebody look at me the other day, yesterday, and ask, or no, it's actually this morning, about possession. Why should I tell you? Look it up. Go through YouTube. It's right there. I mean, sure, EA Wedding stuff isn't there, and he did a pretty good job explaining the 5 types of possession, the 5 levels. He just didn't go into a full detail like I did, and give sources, by the way. One of the other reasons why his channel was taken down. They won't come out and say it, but you can damn well bet that's truth. But anyways, I'm going to leave you here. I want to thank everybody for jumping on here with me. Hope you learned something. And hopefully you go out and take care of that shit. Whatever topic it is, don't let fear and what ifs stop you. All right? Have a good night.